morning, professors, parents, and students. Let me first of all thank you, the English department, for giving me this opportunity to give a sharing today. So when I was preparing for this sharing, I've racked my mind and heart for what I ought to say to you today. I was asking myself what I wish I had known when I was where you are now, and what I've learned in the past 4 years that have expired between then and now. You must have a lot of question marks in your head right now. You aren't sure about what to expect for this next stage in your life. You don't know what is the right path or the right major for you. And it is very normal. Indeed, you're making a life decision, and you try to be very careful in every step in your life, that you try not to make a mistake that would make you regret. But let me tell you something. You are going to be fine. There's no such thing as the right major or the right path for everyone, because it's different for every single one of us. And for me, the reason why I chose English as my major was because of two main reasons. First of all, it's because of my passion in English literature, and especially Shakespearean plays, actually, when I was in high school. And second of all, it's because I fell in love with this UHK campus. I mean, it's huge, and the whole mountain is the university. How cool is that? So, so there are different reasons why you might want to listen to this talk, and you might want to consider to be an English major. And my sharing is going to be divided into two parts. First of all, it's going to be about how is it like for me to be an English major, and second, it's about my international exposures that I've acquired, that I've gained, basically, throughout my undergraduate years. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of be brief about the obvious, like the really great skills that I've acquired throughout my almost 4 years at English department. During my studies, I've built the ability to communicate effectively in both writing and speech, the skill to analyze complex problems, and the familiarity to cope with unfamiliar culture and historical eras. But the most important thing for me to be an English major is that I have the opportunity to exercise my imagination and creativity. I've taken courses like reading poetry, creative writing, drama and performance, and in all these courses, I feel like I have the control over what is given to me, the materials that are given to me. Because I can be critical of and have my own interpretations of the work of Shakespeare, Oscar Wilde, of William Wordsworth. It's always hard to pronounce that name. So I feel like that is really important. And you might ask, why is that important? Because creative people are always in demand. And creative people who can articulate and express their ideas in a clear and precise manner are even more desirable. And that is what being an English major can provide you with. So now here comes what I like to call the juicy part of my sharing, which might not be of your concern yet, but it was for me when I was at your age. I make myself sound really old, but yeah. The real reason, I'm pretty shameless in telling you guys this, the real reason why I wanted to attend university in Hong Kong was because I wanted to go on exchange. So that is actually quite, not really because of the undergraduate certification, but more for an exchange program, if that makes sense. I wanted to go on exchange in UCLA, in the States, and I don't know why, I just had this weird fantasy about UCLA and the Cali student life. So that was my wish when I entered university as a first-year student. But later on, it did not last long, actually. During my first year, during Christmas, I went to Cambodia for an English education project in one of the poorest villages in Cambodia. And after that, I got quite committed in the education work. And then I went to Cambodia again in my second year, but this time no longer as a volunteer, but as one of the staff of the NGO. So after that, I went to Bangladesh for a social business study tour that was organized by my college and also like another organization called Education for Good. And that is when I had the privilege to meet the Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Professor Muhammad Yunus. I hope you guys will try to Google him if you don't know him already. He's a great guy because he lifted people out of poverty through microfinance. And so, like all these experiences combined with all other international exposures that I've gained through different channels, has led me to the conclusion that I want to go somewhere else other than UCLA. I didn't want to go to UCLA anymore. I love developing countries. I wanted to learn about different cultures. And I decided to go to South Africa for a year. To a lot of people, South Africa, or Africa in general, is like all wild animals, lions, tigers. Well, there's no tigers in Africa. Like lions, rhinos, and like tribal people and black people like dancing around. That's not true. But to make it short, my year in South Africa was the best year of my life. And I've never been surrounded by such beautiful and colorful people, landscape, and cultures in my life. Whenever people try to ask me why, what is the most unforgettable thing that happened to me in South Africa, I would always give them this example. And that happened on a Christmas Eve. And it all started because, interestingly, because I was an English major. So, due to many unexpected factors, I had to spend the Christmas by myself in South Africa last year. And being all alone, I was like waiting for the train at the train station, and this African lady approached me. Well, I mean, as an Asian, it's really easy for me to stand out in Africa, so it's quite normal that someone would approach me. But then she approached me in like a really friendly manner, and then she asked me where I'm from, what I'm doing in South Africa, and I was like, I'm an English major. I am an exchange student in South Africa. And after once she heard that I'm an English major, she got really excited. Like like you see excitement in her eyes. Like she was just really passionate about it. And then she was like, "Oh, I was in English. I studied English literature when I was in college as well." And then she like kept on going about Virginia Woolf and about Jane Austen and like all the writers and all the great writers. And she was telling me passionately about this theater that is in the Montaigne Casino in Johannesburg, stuff like that. So at that moment we clicked, obviously, because of our connection as English majors. And after that, when we were about to say bye, after we reached our destination, she asked me, "How are you gonna spend your Christmas?" And I was like, "I'll be by myself." And then she asked me, "Would you like to spend Christmas with me and my family then?" Without any hesitation, I said yes. And well, it's usually quite easy for me to trust strangers. Don't learn from me, kids. But yeah, but that's actually the right decision, because since then I became part of the African family. I even call her mom my mom, and we celebrate Christmas. Like we had a really great time celebrating Christmas, and I even flew back because I studied in Cape Town. So I even flew back to Johannesburg to give the mom a surprise on Mother's Day, as if she's my mom. So until this day, we still keep in touch. And they would always urge me, they would always urge me to go back because it's my second home. I hope my sharing today gives you an idea, not only of how is it like to be an English major, but also the exposures and opportunities that you could possibly have at English department and also at CUHK. And I wish you all the best in your future studies, and do feel free to ask me any questions after this session. And yeah, thank you so much.